Welcome back to Life on Cars. Just a quick one today about how to connect a CTEC battery charger or battery monitor to the Jaguar XK. I've just seen a lot of people discussing this lately on forums, and there seems to be a lot of people overcomplicating it. So hopefully those of you that are interested in connecting one of these to the vehicle. So I'll show you how I've done mine. Mine's hardwired using the hardwire kit, but we'll talk a bit about the crocodile clips as well and a couple of other tips. I hope you find it useful. So just start by removing these clips here. There's 4 of them all together. There you go. Take them off and then take that trim out of the way. So yeah, you do see a lot of posts on the forum talking about, oh, you need to connect the negative to the chassis, this, that and the other. Seriously, there's no need to panic about all that. Nice to have on the Jaguar XK. There is actually a stud on both sides of the battery terminal. So this is the positive, and this is where it clamps onto the battery. So you don't need to touch that, which is good. So you're not going to risk breaking any connections. And you can connect the positive side of your CTEC permanent fixing adapter to there, and then the negative side I've just basically gone, there's another stud there, so it makes sense just to use that stud. Again, you don't need to start hunting around, oh, where can I put the negative away from the battery. Honestly, it's safe to just do it like this, straight to the battery. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck that behind there like that, so it's secure. And then I've got an extension lead here, which I'm going to run. So I'm just going to plug that in there, like that. There we go. Tuck that behind there, so that's nice and snug. So let me just recap. Positive off of there, screwed on, nipped. Negative there, screwed on. Bring that down behind there, and then I'm going to run that extension cable just behind the stud hole there, and then the cable will come out behind the trim when we finished. And then I'll show you another top tip for when you're connecting the charger if you've got the vehicle in a garage. So when you buy a CTEC charger, you tend to get the crocodile clips in the kit. Well, I've gone for a hardwired kit, but you quite often see on forums people say, oh, you shouldn't really connect these across the battery. The only reason they're saying that, and the main reason where that's come from, is the risk of sparks when you're connecting and disconnecting. You should always turn a charger off when you unplug a charger from the wall before disconnecting it anyway, and that will reduce the sparks. But the normal way, or the safe way to do it if you're using the crocodile clip, would be to put the positive onto the positive side of the battery, and then the negative, it's good practice to connect that somewhere else that's a good earth, not on the negative side of the battery. And the only reason that you see that being mentioned is because if you do put it across the battery, when you disconnect, there could be a potential of a spark, and then if any gases have built up, then potentially an explosion from the battery. But you know, these are sealed now, these batteries, so the venting is done via a pipe. You can see it there, that's where this battery vents, and it goes down and goes out to the vehicle. But you could still get a little bit of gas build up in the trunk, so that's why people recommend that you wouldn't connect there. You would find a better earth for charging, which would be, I don't know, I'm looking on this Jag here, and the options are fairly limited. Might be a good earth just down there. So that's why people mention not connecting across the battery. But it's different if you're hardwiring. So hardwiring, it's not a problem. So there we are, that's all hardwired up, and the wire comes out the side there, and I just tend to leave mine in the trunk like that when I'm not using it. So what about when I want to use it then? So you can see the problem here. I'm going to have to bring this wire out of the trunk, or out of the boot if you speak in UK. And obviously closing the boot fully is going to trap this cable or nip it onto the seal, and if you're leaving the car for a long time it could end up leaving a bit of an indentation on the seal. So now if you're gentle you can close the boot down, and if you've got no option, if the car's living outside, then that's what you might have to do. But if you're lucky enough to have a garage like me, I'll show you what I tend to do. So what I do is I take a screwdriver and I just basically close the latch like that with a screwdriver. Now the car thinks the boot is shut now, so that's a good thing, because that means when I lock the car it'll power down properly. And secondly, when I close the boot, it rests on the latch and doesn't close properly, meaning that the cable is not trapped. And then I double lock the car for the beep, like that. And now because the car thinks the boot's shut and we double locked, the car will power down properly. And then I have my CTEC charger. I've got the MXS5. I have that one mounted on the wall just at the back of the garage, which is handy, keeps it nice and safe. So there's my cable coming out the back of the Jag, not trapped, connects in there, goes into the charger. Always make sure that you're on the right setting. So that's car. I have mine on the AGM setting because it's an AGM battery that's on this Jag at the moment, and then plugged in. So that's my setup, like I say, and I like to keep the cables off the ground as well, just in case there's a heavy rainfall and it runs in. I don't really want this connector, even though these are waterproof, because they do have rubber seals. I prefer not to have that on the floor. So yeah, that's my setup for leaving it on the old CTEC on the trickle. Hope that was useful. Okay, so final thoughts on that. So yeah, crocodile clips, you know, you can put them across the battery if you're stuck or if you're not sure where to find a good earth. You just have to be careful that you switch the charger off at the wall, unplug it before you disconnect the clips, because there could be potentially a spark. And that's why you hear about people, you hear people saying connect the negative away from the battery, potentially somewhere down below the battery, because obviously as it's gassing off, those gases will be going up, and that could be your potential there for a spark. But you know, if you're hardwiring across the battery, it's perfectly safe, because then obviously the connections are tight. You're not going to be making and breaking any connections around the battery, and that's the beauty of that kit from CTEC. And I really get some good results from my trickle charger. It seems to bring the battery back up quite quickly overnight, and then maintains the battery really well. So they're a bit expensive, the CTEC, but I think they're worth the money, and it's worth the money getting that hardwire kit and getting the extension lead as well. And then you can use your CTEC with the crocodile clips on any other vehicle as well. So yeah, I hope you got something out of that. If you did, if it's the first video you're viewing on the channel, please like and subscribe to Life on Cars. Have a look at the other Jaguar videos in the playlist. Might be something that interests you, and please click on the link below and give me a subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and it'll help to keep the channel going. In the meantime, take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching.